First, you replace this amulet with this amulet. Now, the problem is this amulet has a gem in it that increases the damage of your frenzy by 27%. And frenzy is, at this point, the primary damage dealer of your setup because of this power right here.
I got some new things. You should take a look.
Okay. You can read that. And because of this other power right here, once again, so that's 400%, which is 5 times damage. And this is like a crazy amount of extra damage. So, Frenzy is a primary skill. It's a generator. It increases Fury, you know, doesn't spend Fury. And so you lose that 27% damage. So you might gain 11.8% damage, sheet damage, which is just, you know, it's 11.8% damage increase, but the problem is then you lose this 27% damage. So if you really want to use this, you're going to have to get a socket on it. And out of all these properties, I would say the worst one is the armor. Although the character could use a little more defense from what I've seen. But cooldown in the long run is a lot more useful. For this build, maybe it's not super useful right now. Especially since it's a 5% roll instead of an 8% roll. But you know, at the end of the day, if you're gonna put some resources into this, I would do the armor, because barbarians already have a lot of armor because strength adds armor, and they stack strength, and so percentage-wise, armor rolls are not going to do as much as resist all. Let's see. You might not have enough gems. Well, actually, you do. If we run out of gems, they can be converted. So I'm trying to get a socket here. It's probably going to take a long time to get. Probably going to waste a lot of resources doing this, but whatever. Okay, let's see. So yeah, I got a lot of... Okay, because you have Broken Crown, you get a lot of gems, but they're of this color, which is fine.
I can't believe what people throw away.
You can buy essence of... let's see, what are we trying to convert it to here? Topaz, was it? Yeah, topaz. Impossible. Okay, so I'm gonna get some topaz. Topaz dust, as I'm gonna call it. And can do some conversions. We'll start with just one here. What the fuck? Oh my god. Okay, yeah, that's...
Talk key suspended.
Well, that's gonna be even worse.
Talk key enabled.
Okay. Get some topaz here. Okay, Death's Breath might be a problem. Hopefully I get a socket here. This probably isn't even worth it, but whatever, there we go. Excellent. Okay, so you still get a big damage boost without a loss of toughness. All in all, I'd say it's worth it. That being said, though, the loss of lightning immunity might be a little suspect, but hey, the 10% is 10%, right? Alright, we'll go along with that for now. So, next thing to consider, okay, got some new items here. Okay, let's deal with that. Okay, I'll put these in here just to collect set items. God, I wish these guys would shut the fuck up. Let's see here. Maybe I'll save these or not. Yeah, I will for now, but probably get rid of them later. Actually, I'm going to put them up here just so I don't forget about them. Okay, you got another undisputed champion. No, I put that there. Okay. All right. Now, as you can see, I'm right-clicking the gems. It's going to auto-stack them if they're already in here. So, boom. Okay. Put that over here as well. I'm going to keep this around just in case. Maybe the lightning thing might be useful. I might actually prefer the lightning thing, but let's take one look at this again. Actually, no, because I like critical hit chance more than attack speed. And of course, this has lightning skill increase. That's another thing. I set the rune of lightning on frenzy here, so you lost the 19% lightning damage increase. So that's a huge. You lost a lot of damage by doing this. So that's another way that was a fuck up, but whatever. So these are things to consider. So lightning damage percent, and the reason. So this is lightning rune. Notice how it says lightning here. Now, this belt here gives you all the runes, but which element damage it is depends on which one you choose. So it's, even though it gives you all the runes, it's not going to apply all elemental damage in terms of how much damage this does. It's only going to apply the one you select. So I select lightning, that's lightning damage. But it doesn't matter what rune you select here, since you get all runes anyway. You still get the functionality of all the runes. That being said, though, this adds 18% fire damage, these mage fists. So I might just keep enchanting these strong arm bracers to go to fire damage instead. So then there's a big fire damage boost. In fact, yeah, I'm gonna... Well, I'll keep the lightning for now. Actually, no. I'll do this. Fire. Okay, so now we got 2 fires. So I'm gonna set this to Maniac because that's a fire rune. Okay, so now this is unfucked. Now this is unfucked because with the change you made before, it was absolutely you absolutely destroyed your damage. Okay, so now that that's settled, I'm gonna put this away. Actually, I'm gonna get rid of it. Fuck it, it's a piece of shit. Because the cool thing is with the Altar of Rights powers, critical hits can restore Fury. Now, since your primary damage dealer is Frenzy generates Fury, that's not really an issue. But it could be argued, though, that if you're doing a lot of whirlwinding for mobility purposes, or just you're using a different build that needs Fury generation or whatever, it's running out, you're losing Fury, then in that case, high critical hit chance. I'll show you. So, oh my god. Fucking piece of shit. Okay, anyway, there was a glitch. Okay, so the Altar of Rights, let's see. I think at this point I upgraded it once for you, so let's see. You got double kill streak, no item level requirements. I think I got 10% move speed, whatever, it doesn't matter. So eventually, as you go down here, you're going to get resource on crit, and I am going to, unless you have a different idea, you know, it's up to you if you really want to change things, but my first goal is auto pickup and salvage, which automatically picks up and salvages yellow and blue items and white items. Because like without that, like you're just gonna want to kill yourself because you constantly, your bags fill up and you have to keep breaking that shit down. There's no point in doing that when you can have your pet do it automatically. So it's much easier to farm the shit out of the game without any problems, without any stupid fucking shit, because that shit just makes the game unfun, having to constantly break that shit down. So that's usually my first priority, so I usually always go down this pathway here in the Altar of Rights. So anyways, you'd be going over here, resource on crit. So let me see if I can actually see. Okay, it doesn't give you a, oh, here you go, critical hits grant resource. So Fury 3. So that's what I'm going for. And of course, the best way to increase damage, generally speaking, in terms of your sheet damage, which sheet damage is just... how do I explain sheet damage? Sheet damage is just like... it's all the damage stats that apply to just like your base damage, regardless of what abilities you're using. And then, of course, when you use an ability, it's a multiplier of that damage. So it's all based on sheet damage. The number one way to increase sheet damage, generally speaking, as you're gearing up, is to increase critical strike chance and critical strike damage. So crit chance and crit damage tend to be the best. And, you know, whichever one you have less of would be the priority, generally speaking. So, however, obviously a very small amount of... Like, so right now, for example, critical strike chance is still better than critical hit damage because... Okay, so like for every 10%, the ratio is basically if you have 10% critical hit chance, you want 100% critical hit damage. And so for crit hit chance and crit hit damage to have the same value here, critical hit chance would have to be 38.2%. So that's 10 times less than critical hit damage, which is 382%. So, yeah, so once you have above 38.2% critical hit chance, times 10 is 382%. So it's pretty easy to see here. So this right now, the critical hit chance, if it was equal with critical hit damage in terms of value, it would be, the critical hit damage would be 335%. Okay? So, anyway, either way though, critical hit damage and critical hit chance, they're not that far apart here. So either one of them adds a lot of damage. Now, of course, attack speed can also add a lot of damage, sheet damage, but that's complicated because the game only runs at 60 frames per second. It's hard limited to 60 frames per second, and depending on what your attack speed is, there's an interaction where, like, if you do, like, how do I explain this? Let's just say that there comes a point where you reach a certain attack speed, and then if you add more attack speed, it might not actually increase your damage, because if it doesn't allow you to get an extra attack in, depending on like the frames per second, there's like a... God, I don't know how to explain this very well, but basically, how do I say this? Let's just say with attack speed, there are breakpoints where if you increase your attack speed, sometimes it doesn't actually increase your attack speed unless you increase it a lot more. And this is because of the game's frames per second limit. So, like, basically, if you go from one frame to another in the game, let's say it's 60 frames per second, if your increase in attack speed does not allow you to get an extra attack in before the next frame, even though technically it's a higher attack speed, or was it... Yeah. I don't remember exactly how it works, but basically you might not actually get more attack speed. So attack speed isn't necessarily a bad thing, but the more attack speed you get, the harder it is to actually get any damage out of it. But whatever. Generally speaking, critical hit chance and critical hit damage are the best, just because they multiply each other. Whatever. Okay, so yeah, anyway, so that'll increase this number here the most. Okay, moving on from that. Okay, what's next here? Probably going to get to playing this character, so... But just some other explanations. Okay, so this weapon here is great just because you just have massive damage and speed increase as long as you maintain a certain... As long as you've killed enemies recently, up to 5, you'll see how it works. And then, okay, so this this here, it used to increase your damage a lot, but now that Frenzy does so much damage, the damage from Rend is almost useless. However, I think it still can kill trash at easier difficulty levels. So it can, yeah. So whenever you're whirlwinding, it's going to apply Rend to everything around you. And this Rend is set to Bloodlust, so it can actually add some healing. And usually when you're in a situation where you get stuck and you want to move around, a little extra healing is a good thing. Obviously, Furious Charge can unstuck you as well, but sometimes it's on cooldown. However, it should be noted that once you get this power from the Altar of Rites, which you don't have yet, you're going to have immunity to crowd controlling effects, so you're not going to be able to get stuck anywhere anymore once you have that. Or no, that's not true. That's not true. Sorry. Actually, that comes from passability. So yeah, it's going to be a while before you have passability. So yeah, actually, this is going to be Whirlwind is going to be useful for a long time, but you might have other options depending on what build you're using. There's no telling how this build will progress because all sorts of items can drop. Okay. So this power here, Ground Stomp causes avalanche.
Still recharging.
That's still a decent source of damage for like trash killing and stuff, but I don't think it's going to add much damage to killing hard targets like bosses, elites, and things like that. But still, minor sources of damage can be convenient for just killing things, smaller things that you don't want to spend much time on. Yeah. In this game, it's both boring and inefficient to try to kill everything and chase like small things. There's no point in doing it. It just slows you down. Okay, let's see. What am I going to do? Okay, let's just field test this shit. Let's take a look. Okay, this is Torment 7. I'm just going to experiment with the Nephilim Rift to see how difficult it is.
Prove yourself.
Okay, so I have an auto hotkey set up to spam 2. I set this to 2 as well, but it doesn't matter. It's set to W. Now, you see me moving around. I'm using something called Force Move. That's just me. I just use that so I can move around without having to click on anything. So it lets me move around without having to interact with anything, without having to attack anything. Because if you move around by clicking, if you click on an enemy, it's just going to attack them, right? And, you know, what if I just want to move and I don't want to attack them? Like, I might want to attack them with other abilities, or I might just want to move and guarantee that I move, or at least try to move, assuming I don't get blocked. So I use Force Move. Usually I use W for Force Move, so that's why I have an auto hotkey set to, like, bypass this thing right here. Yeah, so if you go to Options, Key Bindings, let's find Force Move here. Yeah, so right now I have it set to A, since this is set to W, and then I just have auto hotkey route Force Move to A. Or, I mean, route, like when I hit W, it routes it to A. That's just an auto hotkey thing. Doesn't matter. You can set Force Move to whatever you want, assuming you're going to use Force Move. It's a very useful thing for, like, literally any class. It's very useful. Some people don't use it. I use it a lot. Some people set Force Move to, like, mouse wheel scroll. Whatever. So that's just something else to think about. Force Move, whatever. You could set it to any key you want, or a mouse key. Doesn't matter. All right, so let's fuck around here.
Not ready yet.
Okay, so I'm not actually. You know what? I'm just gonna whirlwind. See how? Okay, this might be the difficulty level is probably too low. All right, see. Notice how they're not dying too fast with whirlwind and rend.
I will enjoy this.
Yeah, see. This elite is not dying fast, but he's dying at a pretty decent clip. That's only because. Only reason for that is because it's a low difficulty level. This character is getting stronger. But now I'm going to use Frenzy instead. Yeah, that killed him much faster, and it wasn't even stacked to 10 yet, so...
Not ready yet.
This is too easy. I'm gonna increase the difficulty.
I need to go back.
Let's try let's try Torment 11, see how that goes. Okay.
Are you strong enough to survive the
No.
trials?
Impossible.
Yeah, this is I'm getting raped here. I might actually lower the difficulty because there's not enough defense right now. Oh, by the way, when your resources are at maximum, that's another good reason for stacking crit damage once you get resources on crit from the altar right. Oh my god. Yeah, so the chest piece here, Aquila Cuirass, while above 90% resources, all damage taken is reduced by 50%. So you'll see,
Still recharging.
once I get the resources back up,
Must
see,
heal.
that means damage, half that you're taking half damage now.
Not ready yet. Creature must die.
Okay, I'm gonna make this easier. This is too hard. I'm gonna set it to Torment 9.
I'm healed. Need more time.
Okay, so
Still recharging.
I'm looking for something that's not too hard, not too easy, just to demonstrate the abilities and stuff. Because if it's too easy, nothing's gonna matter, and if it's too hard, it's just gonna be ridiculous. Okay, I think this is perfect. So as you can see, just spamming Whirlwind is not doing much damage. It might kill like small trash or guys that are almost dead. Now I'm gonna allow myself to get hurt a bit.
Still recharging.
Okay, so I'm getting a little bit of healing from spamming Whirlwind.
I've been hit. Not ready yet.
Now the Rens only last about a second when you apply them, because it this power here,
Need aid. Need
Wow.
more time.
this power here makes the Ren last only, instead of lasting 5 seconds, it only lasts 1 second, but it does all its damage in 1 second. So if you want to keep getting the healing from Rend, you got to reapply it every second or so.
Still recharging.
Yeah, so as you can see, when I use Frenzy, it does a lot of damage.
Still recharging.
And of course, you could see the character moving faster, and it has that shit on it, that swirly shit. That's from Frenzy stacks.
Need more time.
And yeah, the avalanche from this power, it does a little bit of damage, I guess, but let me see how it works. It's doing some decent damage. And then I'm finishing him off with the Rend from the Whirlwind. But that's only for killing like weak stuff of trash, and if you turn up the difficulty level high enough, it's going to do nothing, except for heal you a little bit. And of course, gives you mobility if you get stuck. It's not going to get you through walls, but it's gonna, if monsters are just blocking your path, like see how I can't walk past them, but with Whirlwind I could just go past them. So.
Not ready yet.
Oh, that's interesting. You're getting these clones from Haunt of Axel. Hopefully it... Let's see if it actually... if these guys do a lot.
I can't. Need
Yeah, anytime a map has like stationary objects that like spit fire and stuff, like they usually do a lot of damage.
Still recharging. Not ready yet.
So you'll notice I use Whirlwind a lot. That's just if I want to move around, but I'm not actually like, you know, moving a big distance, because if I just force move, A, I'm going to get blocked a lot. I might run around these guys instead of through them. And B, if I'm moving around a little bit and I'm not using Furious Charge in the fight, like I want to get healed. I want to get healed by, you know, Rend, you know, from this power here. Doesn't do much, but it's better than nothing. These guys are really hurting me because they have fire chains, and if you stand in the fire chains, it just does lots of damage. So fire change is kind of hard if you're melee because you have to be in their face. But if you stand between them, fire change is going to get you.
Health return. Need more time.
And of course, another benefit of Whirlwind is that it breaks objects, breaks doors. So if you're just running,
Vulkatos guides my hand.
see how fast I can kill these guys. Yeah, the fire on the ground. Oh wait, let me see what. Yeah.
Still recharging.
You did have a ring that would like. Oh no, it didn't heal you from fire. Never mind, that's different.
Need more time.
Yeah, see, I'm breaking the door with Whirlwind. Getting out of there.
Vulkatos smiles on me. Still recharging.
So yeah, this character can do. It's getting more powerful. But yeah, obviously Frenzy is the best. Ideally, you'd keep the stacks at 10, but it's hard because it's like only it takes 5 seconds or maybe 3 seconds to fade off.
Need more time. Not ready yet.
And you may notice I'm always using Avalanche, or I mean Ground Stomp on cooldown. That's also auto hotkey. So with my auto hotkey, I have it set so that I can spam left click super fast, just by pressing E. But that's just my auto hotkey. And E also happens to be Ground Stomp, so it also presses Ground Stomp.
Need more time.
Yeah, so destroying more items in a streak like gives you more move speed. I think the game gives you like a move speed bonus for destroying more objects temporarily.
Still recharging.
Yeah, this fire on the ground. I'm getting a lot of healing here. Not sure through what. Oh yeah, your character actually has a lot of Actually, I'm not sure what's healing me. Oh, you got life on hit probably. Somewhere, let me see.
Still recharging.
I thought you had life on hit. I'm gonna figure that out. Let's see. Life on hit. No, there's not much life on hit. Decent amount of life per second, but it's not that much. Life per fury spent. Okay, that can be useful. I'm actually not sure what's healing you. Is it frenzy? No. I'm not much of a barbarian expert at this point. It wasn't whirlwind either, because sometimes I wasn't using whirlwind. Or maybe frenzy just maybe even though there's not much life on hit, maybe Frenzy is just attacking so fast that you're just getting lots of life on hit procs. That's crazy. Well, either way, looks pretty useful. So let's continue here. I'm just holding down the button to keep attacking with Frenzy.
Still recharging. Back to hell, dog. Not ready yet.
By the way, you should never be casting Rend manually. There's no point. So if you're hitting D, like you're wasting. Here, I'll just hit D a lot. Just useless. I'm just wasting Fury doing like, because I would get free Rends just from whirlwinding. There was a glitch in my auto hotkey. Notice how I'm not just like killing everything. And you're like, oh, I thought you liked to kill everything. Well, this is different from WoW dungeons, okay? Like if you're just constantly chasing little trash like a squirrel going after nuts, like you're literally just wasting your fucking time. It's boring as fuck. Better to go after the big guys. You'll get things done much faster. And plus, like chasing little bits like that and trying to kill them all is worthless unless they're preventing you from like teleporting or something. It's just boring. It's more fun to go after large groups of enemies and just kill massive amounts of shit at once. See, that's boring. Alright, there's the Rift Guardian. Let's see if I can survive this shit. Yeah, this character has a lot of self-heal. I think it's applying life on hit very well from Frenzy. Because life per hit, 8,000 is not much. But it's something. Okay, let's see what type of Greater Rift can be done.
Gain new strength.
Let's see how many resources you got here. Okay, so you got 32 Death's Breath, so that actually makes me want to try to get a new weapon. But I don't think you... Oh yeah, you do. Alright, let's get rid of these. Okay, that's worthless. This might be useful. Okay, it's got intelligence. Oh, speaking of which, when you're playing solo, use the Enchantress here for cooldown reduction. And defensive stats. I mean, you could use this guy instead, because he gives you some extra heals, but you have so much self-healing, I don't think it's worth it. I usually always use the Enchantress just because I like the cooldown reduction.
I am fond of this one.
I'm not going to choose this skill here because I don't think it's super useful. It can slow you down sometimes or it can cause problems. Because Charm, if they use Charm or Temporal Pulse, it can kind of interfere with your ability to like control how enemies are being pulled, and like if you're doing solo stuff, my guess is you're just going to be speeding through stuff and not trying to do really hard stuff. Like this could help your survivability and stuff, but it's just like whatever. You can get it if you want, but once you get it, you can't unget it. So I'm not going to get it. Okay, this is for defense. Oh, by the way, while you're playing solo, this is amazing right here. Because that gives you a free death. So if you die, it'll prevent you from dying like once every 2 minutes. So that's really good. I'm just gonna give this enchantress some gear. Because if she's dead, she's not gonna be able to do much. But I'm not gonna give it much. I'm just gonna... anything I find on the ground, I'll give to the enchantress, I guess. Ultimately, there's an item you can get that makes it so that they're invincible. But that's gonna cost too many materials here to use right now. Death's Breath specifically, so I'm not gonna do that now. It's gonna chew through all your materials. And you can't use the follower when we do multiplayer, so there's no point. Okay, let's see here. Staff. I want to get a staff here. Okay, and it has intelligence on it. That's good. Perfect intelligence, vitality. As far as this is concerned, oh, perfect. I'll give her this as well. Reduced duration of control and pairing effects is also always useful for followers because if they're being frozen or stunned or whatever, it might prevent them from using certain abilities. Oh, by the way, this Lyric's Crown has a perfect roll, 100%. So that's really nice. 100% increased gem.
Yes.
Might as well give her something useful, semi-useful. Well, probably not going to do a whole lot anyway. I'll just make one of these. So this will increase your experience slightly while you're using the follower. And the fact it's, yeah, so you get 1.5%. It would be half that if it wasn't Lyric's Crown. Alright. So let's do some Greater Rift here. Let's try that, see how it goes. Actually, wait, no, that's probably going to be too much. No, that should be fine. No, it's going to be too hard. Let's try tier 45.
Then your trial begins.
Not ready yet.
See, as you can see, Whirlwind does almost no damage here. Let's try Avalanche. That's doing a little more, but it's not doing much. So, the only reason those are useful is because if you're doing easier stuff, it helps clear trash quicker, so you don't have to. So you could run through the screen, everything dies, and you don't have to frenzy because frenzy has a lower range. So now I'm using frenzy. All right, there we go. Now we're getting some damage.
Still recharging.
See, I lost the frenzy stacks already. So frenzy is a little bit annoying to use. Also, there's a buildup of damage because you see this right here. That comes from Echoing Fury. So when that's at 5, you get like 50% increased move speed and like, I think 50% increased attack speed. So that adds a lot. But it's based on kills, right? So if you're just doing a boss kill, it's never gonna stack up. So Echoing Fury is useless for like boss kills. Unless they spawn extra guys to kill, then it's great. So as you can see, it's building up here again.
I must wait longer.
And you notice that when I almost died, I Furious charged out, so they couldn't hit me. Yeah, this is... In a Greater Rift, killing small packs, or like if there's not much to kill, it's a waste to kill it, because it's just going to slow you down. This is a lot, though. These guys give a lot of progress. But they also hit pretty hard. You noticed everything got frozen here? That's because this went to 30. It's a season-specific thing. When you get a big enough kill streak, stuff starts to happen. So this number here is a seasonal bonus.
ready yet. I am hurt.
Yeah, so this character's main weakness right now is it's a bit squishy.
Still recharging.
The damage is okay.
I need healing.
Oh my god. Yeah, so it's a little hard to survive on Greater Rift 45 right now.
Need more time. Not ready yet.
Oh yeah, here's a bunch of shit to kill.
I grow in power. Still recharging. Need more time.
What gems are you using here? Okay.
Not ready yet. I will not be denied. Still recharging.
I'm trying to gather them into as big of a clump as I can,
Need more time.
as long as it doesn't take too long. Oh, got some elites here.
Still recharging. The ancient smile on me. Not ready yet.
Where the fuck is the other guy? Oh, there he is.
Need more time. Not ready yet. Still recharging. Need more time. Not ready yet.
There we go. Now I don't have to worry about dying for a while.
Still recharging.
Can focus on just doing damage.
Need more time.
I'm gonna look for elite packs. Alright. Right when I say that, two of them appear.
Not ready yet.
See, that's called skill. No luck involved. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting I'm invincible because of the shield pylon. So I could just frenzy forever and not worry about dying.
Need more.
Oh, by the way, the more rift progress you have since your last pylon, the higher chance of finding a pylon at preset pylon spawn points. Just something to think about for later, and probably nothing to... Don't really have to worry about that, but it's just something interesting to note.
Not ready yet.
I don't know why I'm killing such a small group.
Guides my hand.
So I'm going to run towards areas where I remember pylon spawn. I don't know all the spawn points. I'm not a pro. Because more pylons just, you know, makes everything better.
Still recharging.
But if there's an elite, I'll kill it. It's worth the time.
Denied. No way. Need more.
Okay, my script is glitching. Oh, there we go. Well, I lost the shield pylon, so now I can die again.
The ancient smile on me. Not ready yet.
Alright. Let's see how this goes.
Still recharging.
Probably don't have any reason to whirlwind here at all. Okay, so it kills Rift Guardians pretty quick. Alright, just a little soft. So, I could increase the difficulty and still kill things pretty quickly as long as I, you know, don't chase stragglers and only stick to the big stuff. But it'll be a lot easier to die, so until I get some kind of defense upgrade. Leveling the Legacy of Dreams will, that's not really going to add anything to defense, but it will add a lot to damage, to some degree anyway. Yeah, so for now, also I'm collecting set pieces in your, well, we'll get to that in a bit.
My name is Ashley. and
Okay,
like
so,
Ulrich, I once served
oh,
in
actually,
Diablo.
I'm going to start leveling
When the
Simplicity's
champions
Strength,
of ages past
because
have
once
proven
you get that
themselves,
to
I
level
would like to
25,
improve the clarity of one of their
you can see that
gems.
it says hits with primary
If you
abilities
have
heal
a
you for
gem
4% of your
sufficient
maximum
quality,
health.
I can try. I'm here to help.
And Frenzy hits super fast, so you'll be healing yourself constantly, even faster than you're already healing yourself. And also, Simplicity Strength, it adds to the damage of generators, or I mean primary skills only. But it adds a lot of damage compared to other gems. It just doesn't add damage to other things. So this is also a big damage boost. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to get that to 25, or you're going to get that to 25.
I'm returning to town.
Okay.
Your
Well done.
Let's see what set pieces. Oh, speaking of which, it's too bad that this has strength instead of intelligence. Because intelligence, the more intelligence you stack on the Enchantress, the more cooldown reduction you get up to a certain point. But this weapon is really nice on Enchantresses because they can constantly blind shit. Which is very useful because if you're dealing with stuff that's dangerous, the blind will make them temporarily helpless. So we can fuck around with that, I suppose. I might keep this staff just in case I want to swap it out, but whatever. I'll put that over here. Okay, Leggings of the Savages. So the Savages set, I'm going to put that over here. Savages set is all about Frenzy. So if you get a full Savages set, you're going to be doing really well because you already got a lot of Frenzy power. So far, you don't. The only reason to go with a set instead of Legacy of Dreams gem is if you have a full 6-piece bonus for these sets, then they become very powerful. But if you don't have that, Legacy of Dreams gem is way better because it just increases your damage and damage reduction just a lot for each legendary you have on. So this is the best thing to go with right now. Just make sure you have no set bonuses, as you can see. Okay, the rest of these things are useless, I think. Yeah, they're useless. Let's see what you can build, by the way. Okay. Yeah, this is all useless. Sages will be useful if you... but not now because the set bonus will break Legacy of Dreams. But if you equip a 6-piece set and you have Brink of Royal Grandeur, so you only need 5 pieces, then you could also wear a couple pieces of Sages, and then Death's Breath. You're going to get a lot more of those. But there's an alternative. In the Altar of Rites, you can eventually get something that doubles your Death Breath's drop. But that's later. It's not a high priority. So that's about all there is to it. I can't really think of anything else. Yeah. One last thing.
Let's see what happens, shall we?
Oh yeah, there were 2 things I wanted to do actually. First, for now I'm gambling on helms. Actually, wait, maybe not. Let me see what set items you have. What set do I like the least? I don't know. I think I'm going to keep all the set items for now. Yeah. Okay, so to get the next Altar of Rights power for your character, you're going to need any class-specific set helm. And that only counts as 6-piece sets, not 3-piece. So
Don't be shy.
I'm gambling for headpieces just so I can get past that Altar of Rights thing quicker.
Do come back again. Don't forget, luck always changes.
Because it's pretty easy to get a set piece helm this
I
way.
didn't even know I had that
I
thing.
cannot afford that.
But once that's done already, then there's no point in focusing on the headpieces unless you specifically want a headpiece. Okay, and one last thing, just so we can maybe get a power increase really quick. These are one-handed mighty weapons. And I'm going to do this to see if I can get a mighty weapon power. Fjord Cutter. Okay, that's for Seismic Slam. We're going to ignore that for now, but I'm going to keep it just in case. Don't have enough death breaths for another. So I'm going to keep this Fjord Cutter around because that could be very, very nice once you have more damage multipliers for Seismic Slam. Seismic Slam is pretty nice.
Acquire a new skill.
Here's a preview of it. Pretty nice. And that's it.